Hey, good to see you too, brother. Hope you've been well. Really feeling these like gentle, full triads, these like minor triads. Thank you. I've been fortunate. You guys, if you've seen the little blips of streams, like I've been doing these little brief, like 45-hour streams where I was just like adventuring, trying to capture the essence of the beach side I went to in Bunsen, where I was just like chilling, doing cold plunges, kind of just being present in the moment. Like what I love about being in those forest streams, often, especially the ones where I'm in new territory, right? It's very fresh and raw. I don't know exactly where I'm going. I'm doing plunges, and it's like, it's kind of like an unknown unknown. I'm juggling the dimension of being on a stream, but also, dropping it when appropriate to just be present with the experience. So it's an interesting experiment. It really invites me to be very present. But of course, also try to integrate music, dimensions, and philosophies, and whatever flows through. It's cool. It's less about the experience of myself and more about the experience of nature and the entirety of it, which is a fun direction to lean into. So I think, for the viewers, that's a very beautiful element. It's like, it's less about myself, more about nature, the larger experience. Oh, can't tell if there's landscapers out there, some trucks flowing through. There's a lot of noise out there. Oi, welcome. Welcome, friend. Very well, my new single is out, so I'm happy about it. It's playful, chill, and silly. Very nice. Nice. Yeah. I'll have to give it a go, my guy. I'll have to give it a go. In the age, of course, AI and whatnot, it's important definitely to celebrate and honor the live music experience, or the music experience as a whole, the real music experience. Not to point in my own direction, but for all of us, for those of you that are, diving into your own musical endeavors and celebrating that beauty and honoring that and bringing that to the forefront. It's good. It's good to keep it in perspective where we're in a very unique time where there's shifts unraveling that naturally. I think just require a deeper reverence of what it means to connect, to the core essence of music, whatever that is for you. Welcome, Julie. Welcome, I'm Fen. That's kind of you, my friend. But as we are, this is a music channel focusing away from religious ideology. But I appreciate the sentiment. I can feel the intention behind that, Fen. So thank you for sharing that, brother. Also, you play piano, multi-instrumentalist. Aye, thank you. Yes, sir. I've been playing piano for about 3 years now, and it's a nice expression. Very, very foundational. Oh, that's a different key. As we are this morning, we're kind of just focusing a very specific key right here. Let's go with it. Yeah, that's the key we're going for. I'm hearing a key in my head, so my fingers. They want to involve the entirety of it, but I'm like, nah, let's do this key. Now, for those of you watching, you find yourself inspired in this life, allowing yourself to just really breathe life into whatever phase of your own creative endeavors you're in. Realizing the intrinsic nature of how creative energy flows. Not trying to force it, not trying to fight the shift or the tides or the waves of creative energy, just letting it flow wherever it desires to go, whatever instrument, whatever modality, whatever phase of that creative journey, just letting it flow wherever it desires to go. Creative energy is a free form, intuitive energy that just desires to just flow. We can try to curb it, control it, but it only creates further turbulence and tribulation. Turbulation, making up words here, I don't know. I found yesterday I spent a lot of time just kind of flowing through. The only thing I breathe is weed. Well, I mean, hey, we just came from 420 yesterday, so I think that's appropriate. That's an appropriate dimension. I haven't smoked weed in like 11 years, to be honest, but all for it, all the power to you. If you enjoy weed and it like gives you clarity and peace of mind, I'm all for it. I personally choose to just to breathe nothing into my lungs. That's the kind of dimension where that's what the phase of the journey I'm at is like, hey, I like clean, clear lungs. Allow me to breathe fully, deeply for vocalizing, for running. I run a lot. And I'd trade that for any sort of smoking content or absorption any day. But hey, we've all been there, I assume. It's getting towards 1 o'clock, so I think I gotta chug this cacao so I'm not stimulating too much. Hola, welcome, artist. Very nice. An artist, one artistic human being to another. Thank you. Thank you for being here. You know, there's a core thought everyone, and hear. It's like, we're all artists. We all are born as artists, as young children, infants. We are artists. We're all creative beings naturally. Like, we have the ability to summon creative energy. You're doing it right now. It's all flowing very naturally. Like, creative life force energy is what we are comprised of. It's almost like we live in a very bizarre society that tries to, in some rights, professionalize. We desire to make this a professional pursuit, which is, in this society, I think that's beautiful. But of course, music is not really naturally meant to be some sort of professional industry. But hey, beautiful things have still arisen from that. The simplest right, there's no competition, there's no pressure, there's no expectation innately and organically attached to creative expression. We are allowed to just let it free flow and let it be for what it is. That's the ancient way of all of these expressions. These expressions have been present in society and humanity for so long, with nothing other than just the purest expression within it. Well done is the intention that elevates everything. That's right, brother. That's right. That's right. Everything can be infused with an intention that is rooted within something, that's complementary, that is organic and aligned with nature, or is seen with a lens of clarity. But that very same thing can, of course, be also infused with something that is removed from intention. And of course, that's okay. We're human beings. We're imperfect. course, I think intention, infused within our actions can change the world very simply. All right, we'll chug this cacao so it doesn't get too late. Very earthy. Wicked. The function of a instrument is to be an extension of the soul, resonating through the all of creation. Yeah, I could agree with that, dog. I could definitely. I think it's an extension of our own resonance pattern, our vibrational pattern, and it just extends outwards. It's a very unique modality of the human experience. Like, humans can create this, music, that. Like, we're in such a unique time in all of existence where we've achieved this ability to just be this. Like, we are resonance and vibrational beings, but we can extend this into all these different creative ways, and that's so beautifully human. As Terence McKenna kind of emulates, it's like this very portal of like summoning the other, creating some sort of energy from the muse and bringing it back into this world in the form of art, artistic expression. It's the ancient shamanic role. A lot of us, we might think of course, shamans in the context of like, they're gathering these visions and powerful truths, which they are doing, quintessentially. But in the simplest right, they are just, again, as Terence McKenna underlines, it's like they're the ones that are interacting with the other. They're summoning knowledge, truth, connecting with the muse. They're drawing inspiration from the muse and then letting them connect with the other to bring and extract messages, to let us as humans decipher these so we can, move forward as a people, as a tribe. And of course, musicians are that. They do exactly that, as do painters, poets, any person really that's creatively infusing that. It's like, it's that ancient shamanic role. Oh, wow. You and your woman. Wow. That's so dope, man. Wow. Sounds like a magical experience temple. Wow. The piano keys remind us of a duality, intoning melodies and the 10 fingers of 10. Sephirit, the tree of life, being the co-creators of the creator. I like that. I like that, dog. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Decide we should love each other and accept each other. See is the one infinite creators and everything. Interesting. Yeah. That's a great message to take away, Temple. I mean, that's a pure message. I think, as I've openly expressed in blips, for the medicine Changa, we'll call it the plant medicine, the tryptamine plant medicine, to kind of make it ambiguous, not to, try to emphasize the terminology or specifics too much. But that's a medicine that I notice always returns me to, like a divine feeling of it's not necessarily like an intellectualized thought of like, but this experience has now shown me this or told me this. It can. I'm sure it can. Peak experiences of that medicine definitely can facilitate verbal messages and visual messengers and etc. But for me, it's always the simplest same thing. It's like a melancholic, beautiful feeling that we could define as love, or maybe it's like a divine energy before life and after death that just feels just like this level of like home. It's like a returning that I always feel Changa or the plant medicine ally always just kind of returns me to. It's like a wordless experience. It's a feeling I just feel within my body, usually within like my energy bodies. It just like invites me to sort of see things in a very simple way that is outside of the mind, outside of the verbal realm. It's like, like what a beautiful feeling. Out of curiosity, what did you find? Because I find in my experience with sitting with that kind of medicine, it's like there's always something very significant that is drawing me into entering that portal. It's like, what in Curiosity Temple, did you find was the evocator? Like, what evoked the desire to be like, all right, we're going to sit with this medicine with my partner and create this experience just out of curiosity? Like, what is the core intention or the thing or I guess the intention going in that experience that translated into you doing that medicine? So I'm curious. For me, it's always come from a very strong place of like, almost like, I wouldn't even say desperation, but it's like a sense of knowing that there's something beyond, like this dense 3D human experience. And I often, that almost in many rights is what, in some rights, for me at least, is more important to listen and observe than the actual, of course, the experience and the feeling is so beautiful and integrates itself beautifully. But I'm always curious, like, what is basically like, what, things in your life have been really translating into inspiring me? Like, all right, now is the time. Let's sit with this medicine. Is it the state of the world? Is it the state of yourself? Or is it the state of, like, your own sort of perceptions unraveling? Like, I'm just curious. I felt me was pregnant. Ah. Wow. Very fair. What is the hardest thing you can play on the piano? Honestly, I've only been doing piano for 3 years, so I don't typically lean into hard or difficult things on the piano. I just intuitively improvise. I would say, in a difficulty wise, probably the most difficult thing would be something like Attack on Titan themes, maybe. Like, which is not even that difficult. Like, there's Attack on Titan, Levi's Pain, and Calling Out Your Name. Those are songs that I've been just like intuitively navigating. Like, I don't even remember how it goes. Yeah, there it is. So I go in alternate key. I'd say. Yeah, but I've also, again, been playing piano for 3 years. If you asked me to play this same song on the guitar, I could do it in like a breeze. But as difficulty goes, I don't really attempt to just challenge or push the limits too much for piano. It's an intuitive improvisation that I just play around with. Because again, my main focus, my main instrument is guitar. Piano is just a secondary thing I do for a soulful expression. They felt like it was asking the spirit. They told us kindly to like go for now. Fair enough. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. I could see that would introduce a little bit of turmoil, if not a fair bit. I know for a fact, it's a very serious, a very potent time to experience, birthing another human to this world. Like the experience of it maybe miscarriaging, or that's like a very dense, intense experience. I think that's beautiful. I think you're doing it right then, brother. Trying to really sit with the way you're introducing it and the way you're energetically connecting the birthing process. And again, if it's like, yeah, the universe has decided, it's not at this time, then letting it go and letting yourself, like, yeah, deal with it in a very emotionally mature and energetic mature way. That's beautiful, brother. That's actually really awesome. I love to hear that people are doing that. I think far too much in this world, I think I'm just often, in some rights, consumed by the perception that a lot of people don't bring children into this world with intention. Like, even in the deepest right of, like, not even about like when they do or don't, but it's like they just don't have the whole sphere or underlying context of how important it is to intentionally infuse this child's conception in the first couple of years of it. And again, I think, it is what it is. We live in a 3D world. We're all imperfect. We're all going to find our way. But I think it almost baffles me in many ways. When I look at my own life, my own integration, my own healing, and I look at like the lives of many and be like, wow, if for someone to not infuse like a deep level of reverence and intention for bringing another being into this world, it just, it baffles me. I'm just like, like, it makes sense. Humans will do what humans will do, but it makes me very distraught by default. But that being said, of course, it's not to lose faith and hope where like everyone has the ability to make something beautiful out of whatever their circumstance, and there's so many dimensions of what form the human experience. But yeah, it's almost like an intuitive feeling. I'm like, wow, that's the amount of intention that I feel is really important to infuse within those first few years, or the upcoming experience of creating this new life is like, it's powerful, like on a spiritual level, on just a psychological level. It makes so much sense. So it's super dope to hear someone that is infusing that. It's interesting stuff. I'm happy to hear you're sitting with the medicine like that particular medicine. I've only seen nothing but like a deep connection to and appreciation for. So, yeah, hats off to you, my friend. Entering that portal and seeing what it's offering. Piano just rocks. Hello, Riri. What up, Reedy? Riri. Hello, share another live stream. Hope YouTube's finally paying all of your ad revenue. Some sort of compensation for my art. Why, thank you. As of late, nope. I mean, I'm opening those doors. I'm creatively conceptualizing the way to just create better and better quality content. Because it's a long, I look at the long-term game. I'm even unpackaging this where I've received, super chats and the first tier monetization. And I'm about probably 5-6 days away. I think I'm at like 36 or 3,700. It hasn't updated, but I'm about 3,700, I think, watch hours. So 300 away, which will take like 3 or 4 days. And then it takes 5 days for YouTube to update. So realistically, about 6-7 days, and I'll be officially updated to 4K watch hours, and I'll have ad revenue on my side. But of course, even then, that's just a drop in the ocean where I'll have ad revenue and I'll rock the streams and just do high quality content and things and this and that. But now the next quest for me is to actually create even higher quality content that can be delivered to a larger audience. So, basically, I want to blow up some shorts, some long format. I want to really crystallize my niche and go nuclear with some of my content. It's 10x my subscribers, if you will. And there's no rush or urgency with that, but I think that's the immediate path is like, 10x or whatever x my subscriber base, and, multiply my viewer base. So then all the things related to ad revenue, monetization will have this like more illustrious, crystallized rooting which is this is the key. This is what I'm feeling right now, and I think I can do it. I create really good content. I feel like it's a matter of time of just consistently exposing the algorithm to that. Genuinely helped me so much relaxing music. Oh wow, during the scent seasons. That's awesome. Yeah, I've been feeling really good with the music I've been putting out. Like really good. It feels like the content, the music, it's all hitting a really true apex. Like it's not even like I say these with utmost sincerity, where it's not like I'm trying or forcing any part of this process. It's just the music has been flowing, and I've been really proud with the music and quality stuff I've been putting out, be it guitar tutorials and sound journeys. It's all just content I'm truly proud of. So for me, that's perfect. That's all I really desire to do at this point. Just create high quality content that I'm like, you know what, these are bangers. Like I can be very proud of the exact content I'm putting out, knowing that if this were to be received by 100,000 or a million people, I would be very proud. And even further, like I kind of playfully explored the other day, I basically have been playing around, the first time. Honestly, looking at it, whoa, it's a little ambiguous in the nature of being like, I made like a comedic skit. It was like a very short, very low effort. Like I literally just like first thing I could think of, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do a random comedic skit. And the funny thing is, that is just the beginning of like a billion or a million different ideas. Obviously just exaggerate, but a many different ideas that I feel like I could successfully execute. Basically, it's playfully creating comedic skits that I think I could do very well in. Like, because YouTube is an entertainment platform. There's so much room for just playfulness and entertainment. And now that I've established a good community, I think it's easier to see my visions of how I can just execute high quality content. And there's many different ideas flowing through, but I'm looking forward to just having fun with it as much as humanly possible. Because the more I just have fun with it, I create music that I'm happy with, cool dynamics I'm happy with, and playfully explore dynamics. That is how you succeed in YouTube. You just playfully engage yourself as much as humanly possible, and you love the process, just like if you're learning guitar, and then suddenly you create something magnificent. So I can confidently say that we've hit that goal in some regard. I'm like, whoa, I'm actually capable of having a lot of fun in playfully creating like really interesting creative dynamics in many different ways. And that excites me. That always makes me happy. Because, whoa, there's so many different ways to succeed in this world as a creative. That is, succeed being like just have fun, elicit joy, laugh. And I love exploring that in every right of what it is. Because, the simplest right, like you can be as spiritually connected, and you should desire to be blissful and happy and full of warmth. But also, life is not meant to be taken like rigidly seriously. It's like, even if you're a spiritual guru of sorts, if you want to define it as such, a guru or a person that's connected to a higher dimension should also realize how this is all just a play. This is all laughter. This is all not meant to be taken seriously. It's formless. You can poke holes in your reality and laugh and meme around, and that's actually the point of a spiritual journey that is this human journey. We're supposed to have fun. We're supposed to be like, fuck it, I can do whatever I want in a playful way, not to like destroy and destruct ourselves inevitably. But that's also part of the human experience, if that's if that's your karma and you're unraveling that. But the reality is like, yeah, we can take this confidently, not so seriously. You can be like, you know what, I can be super spiritual and happy and blissful, as you should, these are warm, beautiful dimensions. But also you can poke fun at the beautiful human experience that we're in. Laugh at it all and be like, damn, like, isn't this hilarious? Like all this shit. It's crazy. That's kind of what I've been playing with. It's just like, and honestly too, what I love about this is actually a direct product of being a streamer. Because I never intended actually to be a streamer when I did this YouTube channel. I was like, I'm gonna be a YouTuber, do all the YouTuber stuff, and maybe just go down this rabbit hole and do this rabbit hole. But I realized, I was like, you know what? As I started developing my streamer experience and my ability to stream, which I never ever did in my life before the last like 6.5 months, I realized, I was like, you know what?
streaming is a powerful, powerful portal, which, you guys may understand very well, especially if you're a regular audience here. But it's like, for me, I see streaming as a powerful modality of expanding yourself creatively. Like, for me, it's like, when I have instances where I get to real time deal with, say, trolls per se, which is not the most ideal circumstance, but you can basically stretch your ability to exercise creative improvisation in every given realm of what you desire to do with that. So for me, it's like I find myself, indirectly explore how to, put on maybe an improv, like acting slash comedic slash meditative facilitation experience. Just there's so many ways that I can basically exercise in real time feedback to create very explorative and creative realms of content, alongside just playing guitar, of course, and teaching guitar as much as I humanly can. Because it's all infused with the intention of what this channel is standing behind, or standing for. Just cool stuff, cool stuff. Infinite possibilities, real time. Just master this audio a little bit. I'd love to hear that, though. You're doing well and someone's looking after you too. Heck yeah, diverse and fun individual. Ha, an actor, songwriter, and a producer of music, but also now a comic. That's the that's the breaks. Those are the breaks. Those are the breaks. I don't know what I don't know what past life entity I was, but I guess I came to this world. I came to this world prepared to do something crazy. If that even applies, I don't know. That's truly like a thing. Like, I've only recently, since I've been a YouTuber, really been like, oh, word, you know what? I think I'm a decent, like, I know how to, I think I can be a good streamer. Like, I think I'm good at this shit. I'm good at, say, being a streamer, but also I'm good at marketing and building a YouTube channel, which is things a year ago I had no clue how to do. Never did in my life. I'm like, you know what? But I'm also, yeah, I think I could also, play around with like witty, strange comedy skits alongside all these other modalities where I'm like, these are things I'm just discovering that I'm good at as I'm doing them. I'm just like, oh damn, like I never thought I would actually like bring to life certain dimensions that I'm doing, but then as I'm doing in real time, I'm like, oh, you know what? This is just an innate talent that I've never tapped into. That here it is. Oi, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing your truth, Randy. But I'm gonna have to throw you some. I'm gonna have to throw you one of those permanent comment removal because you don't seem like a fellow. No offense, but for one, this is a music channel, so this is your formal statement. Because I guess you don't seem to deem consent valid or important to actually just sit there and preach your religious ideologies, which seems to be a bit of a red flag in my mind. But this is not a religious ideology related channel. It's not a political related channel. Those two subjects in the real world, if you were to come up to me and preach your truth, brother, all for it. Go and do so in a Christian religious ideology related channel. All the power to you. I'm all for freedom of expression, but that is not how I desire to set the context for this channel. And again, based on the two interactions that you had, where you preached the truth, and then I guess you said a one-dimensional statement about, I don't want to save people. I'm not a Christian, biblic, Bible individual that's trying to be a false prophet or paint your one-dimensional narratives. Anyways, that's all I'll say about that. Thank you for sharing your truth, Randy. Your comment rights have been revoked permanently. Please leave this channel. Find another channel that resonates with you, because clearly you're not a member of this channel, or you're not an audience member, and that's okay. You don't need to be. Not everyone needs to be a part of this channel. Healing sound. Oh, I thank you. Slipping through my fingers. I have no idea how to perform that, Bob. Yeah. Be in the video in front of water and gorgeous mountains. The video in front of the water. I do it. Behavioral intervention with students with ASD, and I'm always planning a relaxing ambient as a backdrop. I love you put together a half hour our meditation video similar to your recent. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that you are seeking that psych, because yeah, I myself, I intended to actually, I did originally a 15-minute video of this one I just released, of the forest walk. It was a 15-minute video, but unfortunately there was some audio issues, so I wasn't able to fully lean into that. So I just basically did this 2-3 minute blip, because that's what the sound quality was. That was really uh, primed. I'm just trying to plug in my phone. My phone for some reason didn't charge as I was sleeping, so got to keep it on a charger. But yeah, no, I love that, because that's what I intend to do actually. Moving forward, I want to do 20 minute, 10, 20, 30 minute, and 60-minute meditative videos, exactly like I've done. One shot, meditative guitar, very intentionally woven. You know, I'm just going to take the time to really relax into every sound, make it sound very comprehensive, and really trying to emphasize basically videos and sounds that you can listen to when you are in meditation. Because I often create meditative style guitar, like sound journeys, where I'm composing these sound journeys, they're compositions. But I think, yes, leaning into creating actual meditative journeys where you could just close your eyes and sit in actual meditation or lie down, and it takes you on a journey. Every thought, every sound is very intentionally woven. Every word, it's meant to be received in a meditative state. So I love that that's your intent and you desire to hear that, because that's what I'm desiring to do. I'll be perfectly honest, not an easy thing to achieve. You know, if you are a musician like me, and you understand what it takes to like perfectly do 30 minutes or an hour of full improv without one single mistake. It takes a lot of focus. Now, who knows? Maybe in the future I'll work on, streaming together little clips. We'll do 20-minute sessions. Then I'll edit it into another 20 minutes or another 20 minutes. But as a musician, even maybe the perfectionist in me, I want to do it in one clean sweep. I want it to be a fully pure channel. That's the magic of it. So I'm going to do like a 20-minute, 30-minute improvisation, which I can do. I know I can do this. If you're on these streams, I often do like 30 minutes, 40, 50 minutes of just pure guitar improv that actually is without a flaw. Like, it's very comprehensive. It's not much noticeable flaws. They exist, clearly. But that's cool, yeah, in front of gorgeous mountains and water. It's possible. Yeah, yesterday I went to Bunsen. I went to Bunsen Lake, somewhere I definitely intend to return to in the next couple days. And that is probably one of the most magical views and scenes in the area. So I think it's in the rise, yeah. I am not a cover artist, Adam, so I can take interpretations of music. If people have like energies of, or like a person they want to bless, or maybe just an intention that they want me to improvise on top of, that's what I will do. But I'm not a cover artist as I fill my repertoire with cover music. I create sound journeys and do original music. I also teach guitar. If people have any questions relating to guitar they would love to learn, I would be happy to answer any questions. On any level, if you're a beginner, first day, never picked up a guitar, if you're intermediate, you're advanced, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Today's probably going to be a very short stream, though, today, I have to say. We're at 44 minutes. We'll probably be about an hour, hour and a half, because I have plans in the next bit. But, yeah, we're going to really just be present here. It helps so much for people, so many different reasons. Yeah, I like that. I appreciate that. And I'm glad that flows through. I found historically, especially as a new creator, I find it sometimes a little bit disheartening to try to create, on YouTube, these long meditative sound journeys, simply because there's so many people that are basically just AI frauds. That's exactly what they are. That create their little journeys of music where they just type a prompt and they'll release like a 2 or 3 hour sound journey where everyone's listening to their live or their musical journey that goes for 2 or 3 hours, where they literally just typed in a single AI prompt. It took them a minute, and then they created this little AI journey, and then they wrote it off as saying ambiguously, "Oh, but I composed this as a composer," and that's just filling the YouTube sphere. And it's a sad reality. So for me, I'm a little bit discouraged to be like, you know what, do I really want to enter those waters of trying to compete with the vast AI fraud sound journey creators that are just pumping out prompts of these, relaxing meditative journeys? So it's almost like I can create those things and I think I'll perform well. People that support me, that see me, they want to support the entire package, of a musician actually creating and composing. There's a lot of different unique dimensions, if they want to learn about how to do this himself, or, if they want to support the human behind it. But it's really discouraging to see that there's a lot of these fraudster AI creators that are just creating these meditative journeys. That's a niche. That's a niche. You go out there, you search up any sort of little sound journey, you'll find hundreds, if not thousands, of these fraud musician people that are just typing in prompts and creating these long ass journeys. So for me, I'm not trying to get too discouraged. I'm going to do my own thing and ignore the AI world. Hopefully YouTube will ban all those creators to a shadow of a doubt, and then only real creators will exist. But for me, it invites me to actually create content that AI people could never create. All the content that I create that basically centers around extremely creative choices and personal, intimate touches of music and guitar lessons and the things that AI could never recreate. That's often where I put my energy, because meditative journeys, I love doing them. I love sharing them. It feels good to me. It heals my soul. But in the YouTube sphere, we have like a abundance, for lack of a better word, of fraud composers that literally just type in a prompt and they spit out a 3 hour journey and they fill their YouTube and they create some ambiguous name of, oh, this is what I've done and this is who I am, and that gets the algorithm. The algorithm is full. People are praising these musicians or these frauds, and it is what it is. It's a little timbit of what's to come with how broken I'd say our relationship with creative energy is going to become in the world. So this is not a new farce. This is going to only get more intricated. So you might as well not stress about that. But it definitely gives me a better perspective on how I think moving forward as a creator, how I'm going to concentrate my efforts. Maybe like in the best case scenario, maybe my initial perception of that is a little bit convoluted. Maybe it's like people do want to support actual creators creating, composing like live sound effects. That's the thing that I think I know for a fact will always be prevalent, but will succeed as a YouTuber, as a creator, is my ability to create live raw improv. Like, 'cause that's what I focus. That's what I've been specializing for about 10, 11 years. And I love it. It's like, I'm not necessarily focusing and fixating on just creating music, because we're in a very bizarre time where people can create music with very low effort if they desire to, if they're, that disintegral. But what AI will never be able to do is actually have a live human being do high level creative improvisation, say live streams like these, or create music that's a one shot take that is live. Like, only humans can acknowledge how many years of effort and how raw and difficult that is to do. And it is what it is. So that's where I know my confidence in my ability to succeed is I'm not trying to just do what a billion other people could do with a prompt. I'm trying to do something that's so unique and so raw and so full of creative energy and human energy that doesn't matter if the AI, indoctrines and takes over the world in a couple years, which apparently they may. It's like I will still succeed because I'm doing things that AI can never do. But c'est la vie, c'est la vie. I agree though. It's the helping, it's the connecting, it's the resonance. Like the raw, I think in the simplest right, if I were just to put a little pin in this, is humans can feel the human expression. Like, I really feel humans can feel it. They can feel the difference between a robotic loop of someone just clicking a thing and arranging a perfect arrangement versus the human choices that are developed from a masterful or semi-masterful musician experience, like a composer. They can feel the difference. I really feel it. They can sense those like raw emotional shifts that they've never experienced that are coming from something different. So that I believe in. Again, maybe that is the key, is to focus on like, whatever, the oversaturated AI fraudsters will do what they do, but they will fail to replicate over and over and again the one unique dimension that I will always be able to, hopefully be able to create. And hopefully that is what's going to create support in waves alongside the human connection of connecting of, oh, this is not just a prompt typed in a computer. There is a human behind this, and they're here to help you, to talk to you, to share the creative process, to, help teach you and help you yourself learn these things. It's right. That's right. AYYY. Again, I think, and I think about this in an intuitive way. There's always going to be a unique human realm that will prevail. But I think I'm just speaking to, if you look at it, the sad realities, if you type in meditative sound journey, like what I'm immediately in competition with, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to choose to make a bunch of meditative journeys that people really love to see from me. And it's what I do live on this thing, which is also why I think I'm, bound to and will succeed in the live stream context. If I just make a million sound journeys, the algorithm is pushing, like if you were to just Google or YouTube sound journey, from a forest energy or fairy or Lord of the Rings or blah blah blah, you'll find a billion different like 3-hour mixes of people that have just typed in prompts that are spitting out these like masterful sounding AI creations, and they sound good. Like, let me be clear, is they sound very potent. They serve the purpose. You could meditate to it. You could, sit there and turn this on and zone out and do whatever you want. But it's not rooted in anything real, and most people don't even know the difference. You'll have comment sections full of people praising these people, being like, wow, you're such a beautiful, masterful composer. And most people don't know the difference. It's sad. So anyways, yeah. Psycho Billy. Can't say I know that friend. But again, as it goes, this is why I know, as I've gone on this quest to be a streamer and a YouTuber in context to a streamer, I know that the humanity that I infuse, that is just mine, it's going to go far. I'm confident in humans' ability to penetrate the program. Because even the simplest rite, like, we'll get a little philosophical for a second here. There's a very deep, like, metaphysically rooted or metaphysically, I'd say, explained thing. Like, if you even understand anything about metaphysical philosophy or just, these deeper dimensions of what is AI, it is a product of the material world. Like, it is an infusement of the small fragment that is in the material world. 0.00001% repeated, as Joe Dispenza loves to beautifully articulate, in a lot of his books. We are, as human beings, 99.999% repeated, present in the non-material world. That is, everything that's unraveling and manifesting, influencing our choices, our decisions, our reality, is 99.999% existing in the non-material world. Artificial intelligence is in the 0.0001% repeated. It's never going to change. Things that manifest from it, things that are reinforced, that are in art, that are intricately woven. It's all from that 0.001%. It will never change. It will never change. They are artificial intelligence until maybe it becomes a sentient being and somehow evolves spiritually, if that'll ever happen. It's never going to step outside of that 0.0001%. So people can, pretend that this artificial realm holds depth and that it's going to hold a deep significance in reality, and maybe it will. Maybe we'll become all consumed. But the reality is, it will never change that we as human beings have the ability to understand that the greater construct of how things are operating and being influenced and is in the 99.999%, the non-material. Artificial intelligence is in the material world. It is never going to not be. So, food for thought. It just gives you a little perspective. If you get lost in the idea of like, oh man, AI is going to take over and blah, blah, blah. AI is going to be everything of this and that. It's like, yeah, but it's on a deep metaphysical level, like on an actual quantum level. in relation to the larger construct of the cosmos and everything that's unraveling, that's actually affecting how things are unraveling and manifesting, AI will never even touch those worlds. It can't. It's a material thing. In this time and age, like, it's impossible for a material, like, thing that is rooted within the material world to be the greater construct of influence, because the 99.99% is in the non-material, something that human beings only have rarely yet to begin to access. Anyway, food for thought. There's so much we can't even put into explanation. You know, the power of the human mind and the human experience that we've just begun to understand and unpackage. And it gives me hope. It gives me perspective, being like, yeah, we'll get indoctrinated into this weird AI world, but humans are going to have to remember something they've probably long forgotten. And that's, you know, it is what it is. All right. Well, thank you for being here. And what's good, John? Welcome, brother. My fellow psychonaut. It's good to hear you. Good to see the mushroom symbols and the fungus, yeah, are treating you well. As they treat us all well. As they do. All right, we're going to now go into the freeform expression of this stream. We're about 56 minutes. We're probably going to only stream for another like half hour, maybe less, because we have plans that are unraveling. But with that, what we're going to do is we're going to do some Tai Chi, Wing Chun sort of sparring, as we sometimes do. And then we're probably going to grab our guitar and go for a run in the forest and do some cold plunging. So this is the active phase of the stream where we're going to be going into the real world. We're doing more active stuff. Thank you, Xavier. It's good to see you, dog. Good to hear from you. Peace to your life as well, brother. Peace to your life. Let us... No, I think this is a good angle here, I would say. Seems like a good... Yeah, that's a great angle. That's a good angle. It's actually been a couple days since I've explored this kind of freeform style of sparring here. And as we were sort of saying, when we were on the Lacimides, we found ourselves exploring just a freeform style of training intermediately, where we were... It's almost like a more active form of Tai Chi. You know, because Tai Chi, there's Tai Chi Chuan, as I may be mispronouncing it. There's Tai Chi Chuan. There's the gentle form of Tai Chi, and then there's another form. I forget what it's called. It's the more active form, where it's like you're using explosive movements. That's just like really using an overt dynamic explosion. And I'm kind of playing around a little bit with that, but more so just blending it with like things like JKD and just like a different form. You're just rooting in the breath, connecting with the Tai Chi form, but then also infusing the movement pathways that really just explode from the energy and feeling into the energy in a freeform way. Breathing in, focusing on footwork fully.
Let this be an invitation to engage in a striking pattern, brother. Peace in your life, karate chop it. Yes, brother. I mean, that being said, it's combatant, engaging like a combatant flow, like just letting out your energy in a way where, if you're just going to a field and throwing some kicks or doing whatever, there's something so beautiful about that primal energy that's connecting to the combatant flow, especially as a man, but for all humans. It's like introducing awareness to that energy flow that is present within the combatant endeavor. It's a very primal thing. It's fun. Whoa, that's not gonna bump that. Karate chopping. Yes, sir. And kicking. Kicking is such a primal, beautiful thing. Just get those kicks. Just kicking. It's very playful. Just a brief dimension. Let's see, angst out as well. Yeah, if you are in an angst state, absolutely. If you're feeling, a level of, I'd say, blocked energy, especially if you're a man just like desiring to integrate this energy that wants to direct and honor. Because I think in the simplest right, when you're practicing punching and kicking and all that beautiful stuff, a lot of it comes down to more so connecting with the primal masculine, right? It's the primal masculine. Like if you're like a warrior, in your ancient time, as we as human beings have really disconnected from, like the ancient samurai. I really love ancient samurai. It's like you realize that your life is really devoted to honoring combat for when your time comes, like philosophically accepting, okay, death is inevitable, maybe through warfare, maybe through the warring times, but you spend so much of your time honoring the dimension of combat, thinking about, just almost the graceful art form that is combat. And it's like that is a very powerful thing, especially that's our ancestors. They literally lived and devoted their lives to practicing the art of combat. Now, obviously, we're in a different time. We're fortunate that we don't have to engage in intense warfare or devote our lives to training as warriors, but the warrior essence that our ancestors have woven into their reality is a part of us still. We can't just live as modern men and pretend that we as in essence can just forget what our ancestors have literally been here to teach us. Like our ancestors have literally survived and evolved based off of all these different martial forms and disciplined practices
that we, especially as men, have the innate ability to access. Like we honoring strength and honor within ourselves and all the different systems of discipline and devotion to the body and all the beautiful things the body can achieve. We don't have to be warriors. It's like warriors in a garden, per se. We don't have to be warriors in a warfare or a battlefield, but you can honor that essence, and you should. A lot of the reasons why if you as a man are just like frustrated and angsty or feeling like, man, what is going on here, is because you're not connected to your primal masculine root. If you're a man that's like, what, I understand that I am a warrior in a garden, like in the simplest right, it doesn't even have to be like you are prepared for combat, but you have a warrior mentality. These little quarrels, these angsty, anxiety, apprehension, these dimensions of the mind that you act like have such weight on you, you'll realize that as a man who is rooted in this masculine core, because being a man, obviously, like without going too deep a rabbit hole, it's not just about, the fruits of your labors of being like, because I can hit a thing or strike at that, or, deal with stressors and scenarios. No, these are things that are the products of a powerful foundation of very instilled beliefs, disciplines, beliefs, values. You're like, what, I can deal with the discomfort. I can deal with the things at hand. I can honor the things that are higher than myself. It's like a spiritual level of devotion to to your growing a family, to honoring and protecting the feminine or the people in your life. Like these are things that are core values that then translate into being able to be a strong human being that is able to show up, in the most empowered masculine core. So it's, without going too deep down a rabbit hole, it's just like, if men are living in their life with like, man, I'm frustrated, I'm angsty, I'm this, that, the other, like they're basically exhibiting qualities that are basically paradoxical to the healthy masculine core. Like they're basically just not rooted within their masculine core. There's reasons for this. There's psychological belief system reasons that you, as a person, haven't developed this powerful foundation of beliefs. And again, it's not like to come down or throw salt at anybody. Like, but these people, many people, they're young, men have to learn these things. This is the core thing that I'll just put a simple conclusion, because I gotta, for the sake of time, go for my run, do my cold plunge. But the core thing that you'll learn from ancient archetypes of tribes, the tribal experience and the tribal masculine, is we as men are meant to be initiated. We are supposed to be initiated in this world. Like really, in the core, simplest core part of this, is we as men need initiation. And guess what? In the modern world, we've been robbed of this core domain of what masculinity requires. A lot of us. Maybe it's just something your father's not been conscious of, and his father's father, and hundreds and thousands of years of, tradition and tribal initiation has just been divorced from. But the idea is you need initiation. Of course, I'm sure all human beings do. But as a man to a man, you need initiation. The masculine needs initiators. And when you look at it, this is a very clear-cut thing. A lot of us, we try to look at what does societally masculine initiations look like in an unhealthy context of our society. You think, now that you're 18, you can go to a bar and get drunk, or you can drive a car now, or you can, do your taxes, or get a job and work in XYZ. Those are not initiators. Like, those can be in some small context, but no, as a man, you need initiations. You need rites of passage that you overcome. You need to actually see that this is a lost art form that is actually the immediate result. We are a product of the immediate result of neglecting these healthy masculine initiations. So, without going too deep on a rabbit hole, this is very important to understand. It's not very complex stuff. We as humans need initiations, rites of passage. And these are not easy things. If you look at ancient tribes, you look at native tribes, you look at all these ancient tribes, they had profound, powerful initiations, rites of passage. Some were very extreme. If you look back into how our ancestors operated, some involved medicines, if not always some sort of ancient medicine or incredible overcoming to initiate the man. Maybe that's not necessarily what we're going to experience nowadays as modern men, but we need healthy rites of passage. We need initiators. For me personally, like I look at my own life, training martial forms was, without a shadow of a doubt, that among various different, powerful endeavors. But even to then, I still have dimensions of my own experience that, probably is desiring to reach out and find a deeper initiation to really, as a young man, experience this transition of being like, an initiation that is embracing the tribe, the village, the man, the woman, the masculine, the feminine, in such a way that is honoring the transition to become a man. And you can go through your entire life and never experience that, and you look at your life, you're like, man, why am I so passive or frustrated or just broken in your developmental process? It's like, that's a core part of it. But anyways, we're gonna go for our little run. Our phone is unfortunately at like 10%, which is okay, but the our phone is very low, so this is going to be, yeah, Mr. Mohammed, I think I'm Bruce. What? Muhammad, I think are Bruce Lee. I'm not sure what you're saying, E. Wood, but I agree Bruce Lee rocks. If that's what you're saying. I'm gonna take away that with a simple grain of salt and be like, you're saying Bruce Lee is cool. I agree, brother. Bruce Lee rocks. He's an excellent human being. All right, let's go for our outside endeavor. We'll bring this. We'll bring this. Play some pan flute. But yes, sir. Interesting. It's pretty nice. It's like mild but beautiful out there right now. Hey, look at this. This is a rock that I picked up at the beach, a wreck beach the other day. It's almost like a weird, like clay material little spearhead. I don't know why I was very drawn to this. I found it when I was in a peak moment. I was like, yeah, this is cool. And that it is. It's very cool.